The bull sales season this year I felt was the strongest I've seen across the country of anything out there. Specifically here in Nebraska, the balancers had to have the high sale average of all the different breeds involved. The cattle were in strong demand. At every sale that I heard of was a tremendous interest, people looking for some new genetics. And I think a lot of that's driven from the feed yard industry, and they're looking for different genetics, more consistent genetics, and a lot of these commercial cattlemen are really seeing those facts. There's different reasons to move your board meeting around and just out of Denver. With the Texas Cattle Raisers Association, it was nice to interact with a very large commercial cattlemen's event and have our board members see firsthand what a lot of the issues that are facing the commercial cattlemen are. It was nice to see different parts of the country. A lot of people get locked in your own world. I do here, and don't see what it's like just even over the hill sometimes. But if you start understanding the differences in environments and things, it makes you a better breeder, make your cattle fit certain environments better. Convention was tremendous. If you sat there and you watched people, heard the reason we're doing the things we're doing, and then they really understood. And as they walked away, you could see people's spirits were lifted. They were enthusiastic about the breed, about the beef industry, and what we're doing and why we're doing it. We have a staff in place that's doing a tremendous job of keeping the same commercial focus. We've been rolling along just the same. It's just been an enthusiastic approach, almost you might say, from the membership as we move through bull sale season. People were very optimistic. We're moving into a new genetic evaluation of the bolt system, and now we're into our final weeks of analyzing data to get it clean and make sure there's no errors when the public gets to see it. And we're very, very close, and I have a feeling by midsummer we will certainly be seeing that data. I've looked at the data. It's not big moves. There's some moves, but nothing major. It's really unique data because the accuracy is so much more accurate. And then we get into weekly runs. We will have a new NCE run essentially, instead of every 6 months waiting to see how the new calf crop ratio and how they did. This is going to be really unique because weekly this stuff will be coming in and updating, and we shouldn't see the big fluctuations we've seen in the past because they'll be happening weekly as they happen and being more accurate. I mean, this database that we're about to see is tremendous.
Expanded membership services has helped participating members by reaching out to new potential customers and bringing new buyers to their sales to purchase genetics. The AGA staff has worked with participating members to develop promotional materials and to generate a targeted mailing list to mail that material to new, prospective, and potential customers.
The 48th Annual AGA National Convention is headed to Music City and will be held at the Nashville Airport Marriott in Nashville, Tennessee, November 28th through the 30th of 2018. We're really excited to have the convention in Nashville this year. Not only is it a hot city with a whole bunch of things to do, but it also gets our convention closer to some of our members in the East, and some of those commercial producers are able to attend and find out what things are happening with the Gelbvieh Association. This year's theme, sticking with our strategic plan, is meeting modern industry demands, raising the bar. So at this year's convention, we'll of course have our committee meetings, of our annual meeting, which is where a lot of critical decisions are made in the future of the association. We also have our awards banquet, and of course an attendee favorite at convention is the Cattlemen's Profit Roundup, which allows commercial producers from around the area as well as AGA members to hear from industry-leading speakers about hot topics in the beef industry. So let's raise the bar and head to Music City. Be sure to be checking the e-news and Gelbvieh World for all the event details. Registration opens July 20th on gelbvieh.org.
The Profit Picture mailing list for 2018 represents 10 million head of beef cattle that are throughout the United States. We pick through different regions. We'll maybe select a certain state that we know cow herd numbers are either on the increase, or we will pick, for instance, the top 50 beef producing counties throughout the United States and target a certain number of head of operation and above. And that's how we're able to figure out how many people receive the magazine.
Gelbvieh Media Productions has seen an increase in wholesale catalogs this year. Also with the extended member services, there's been an increase with doing flyers and mailers, brochures and postcards. If you're interested in advertising, feel free to call me directly through the office, or you can email me.
With more and more cattlemen and women joining the social media world, the AGA has really decided to focus more of our time and efforts on our social media platforms. So we're reaching these goals on our social media accounts by seeing an increase in our website traffic of new people and new users going on and viewing those information pages for multiple minutes at a time. And then we're also seeing a steady increase across all of our platforms in followers and people who are really getting involved in the conversation. So if you're ready to get involved in the Gelbvieh and Bouncer conversation on social media, follow the American Gelbvieh Association and the American Gelbvieh Junior Association on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
This February turned out to be our best American Rancher episode yet. We had just over 1 million urban household views as the ratings. Historically, our episodes have been attracting about 700,000 urban household views, but we were able to break that 1 million mark this last February, and we're excited to keep that growth going with our October episode. We're going to be showcasing cattle from the western half of the United States there. And so if anybody wants to catch it, it's going to be the first Monday of October on RFD TV.
Since the inception of Feeder Finder in October of 2015, over 50,000 head of feeder cattle and calves have been listed on this email service, which is gaining in popularity all the time and is being used by more and more commercial producers. Producers who have utilized this service in the past feel that they get better exposure to new potential buyers and greater awareness of when they're selling their cattle.
Smart Select service was developed as a way to help commercial producers manage their cow herd from a genetic standpoint in terms of what that genetic value is. The animals get indexes such as FPI or dollar cow, and so producers are able to see what those numbers are on each individual cow and compare that to the average of their herd to see which cows are being more productive for them and are making them more money.
The 2018 Corn-Fed Classic will be held in Waterloo, Iowa this year. It'll be held July 1st through the 6th. The juniors can participate in showing their cattle, educational contests, as well as hanging out with friends and family. They don't get to see very often. Of course, everybody's coming from all over the nation, so they have a good chance of running into a few friends they meet the year before, and we hope they make new friends every year. The summit is a leadership conference put together with the Junior Simmental Association as well as the Junior Shorthorn Association. The purpose of this leadership conference is for juniors and youth to get out there and meet some folks in the industry, interact with other breed associations. The application deadline for the summit is going to be July 1st. The application is posted online at gelbvieh.org, and any junior ages 14 to 22 can register and attend. We are capping it at 100 applicants, so please register early.
So as Gelbvieh breeders, you're currently used to getting new EPDs twice a year, and you're well acquainted with the data cutoff to have your data used in the evaluation biannually. Moving forward, the evaluation will happen once a week. There still is a data cutoff. The evaluation begins late Tuesday evening. That means that information received by close of business Monday, that's genomic test results, that's performance data that you may have submitted, will be included in that week's evaluation. If you miss that cutoff, don't expect to see your EPDs move or genomic information be included until the next week. So the good news is this all happens on a week-to-week basis. So you don't have to wait 6 months if you miss the data cutoff. The second thing to keep in mind is biannually, with the accumulation of data that can happen in 6 months, we see some pretty wild changes sometime each time the new EPDs are released. One of the good benefits of moving to a weekly evaluation is you'll see more stability. There won't be those big changes from week to week unless you submit a genomic test or unless there's a large contemporary group of progeny data that comes in on a young bull. Otherwise, you should see very small and very incremental changes from week to week. So clearly we expect to see some differences with the new method of EPDs. But if we didn't see any differences, you have to ask yourself, has all this time and effort and expense really been worth it? So we want to see some differences, otherwise we've wasted our time, we've wasted our money, we've wasted all of the attention that's gone to this. And we've been talking about it for a long time. And so you may be asking yourself, what is taking so long? And the simple answer to that is, this is a completely new method of computing EPDs. A completely new computer program was made to do it, but that was the easy part. When you work with a group the size of IGS, we have to have all the incoming and outgoing data flows programmed and automated. When you move to a weekly evaluation, there are things that we used to do manually with a person actually clicking the buttons and flipping the switches that now has to be very, very automated to be able to make the evaluation flow in the time frame required. So all of these things took a lot of time, a lot of attention, and had to be tested very, very thoroughly. We've been running weekly evaluations in the background and working out all of the kinks for several weeks now, and making sure that everything happens on schedule and without any unexpected errors. So you may be asking, where are we? How soon? And the answer is we are talking weeks instead of months at this point. AGA and Digital Beef have been receiving full sets of EPDs each week for several weeks now. Digital Beef is feverishly working to make sure their programming and their automation process for uploading those new EPDs each week and making them available to you is flawless. AGA staff has been looking over those weekly results as well, making sure all the genotypes are included, making sure the parentage corrections that need to be made have been made. And when we are comfortable, we will release those results to the technical committee to take their look and give their stamp of approval, followed by the final thumbs up from the board of directors. And at that point, we will be ready to release the new single-step EPDs powered by Bolt.
The AGA is on pace for another record year with DNA testing. So far, since January 1, we have had 738 DNA orders placed and almost 5,000 DNA samples tested. The most commonly ordered test is a parentage test. The second most commonly ordered test is the low density test, which of course is a required test for all walking sires. If you have not already collected your sample on your walking sire, be sure to do so and get the samples submitted before starting to register calves. If you ever have any questions about anything going on at the AGA or need assistance with registering your cattle or anything on the registry, please call us at 303-465-2333.